Hey guys, Absolute 5 here. I'm out in the park, just chilling out. So today I want to talk about something interesting about something that happened this week with my students, and that I'm not gonna name names, but most of them did well on their test, which I was very happy to see. Very proud of them that they actually passed. But some didn't pass. So that's just part of the business of education and mathematics when you're trying to teach somebody. Not all of my students are going to pass, which is unfortunate. And this is why I actually want to coin this new term that I'm making up right now. I am a STEAcher. What's a STEAcher? It's student slash teacher. I am always learning, but at the same time, I'm always mastering. So, me being a STEAcher, I am trying to always increase my craft of being a teacher, being an effective teacher. How do I really understand what it is what's going on in the student's mind? What do they need to do to pass this class? So one teacher, as I was grading their work, I noticed all their students passed. So because all their students passed, I got curious and I asked them, what did you do to really help them handle that anxiety, that math anxiety that I talked about in one of my videos? And she simply just said she gave them a pep talk. A pep talk? I'm like, what do you mean by a pep talk? Like in the morning, and I noticed that right before the final, she gave them a morning pep talk in the sense of one last chance to review, one last chance for your students to really get that last anxiety moments out of their system. Because this is not a study that I haven't done it myself, but I have a good feeling that like a lot of students, they know the material, but when it comes to the test, their mind just goes, it's blank. They don't know anything. They act like they don't know a darn thing, but they spent an entire semester trying to pass a math course. So I believe a pep talk is something I'm going to now incorporate in my teachings right before the final, because it allows, any test I should say, not just the final, any test. So this way they are getting used to this feeling of getting all the anxiety out, having this feeling of not being able to not know something. They know the material. I know they know the material. It's just there is something that I feel that needs to be talked about, and this is something that needs to be talked about, where students need to feel like they could really be themselves during the final, during the test. This way there's no anxiety, there's no issue of trying to make an excuse for themselves when it comes to the final. Because I still believe that anyone can do mathematics. It's just you have to really dedicate your time, your effort to yourself, and understand that it's not easy to go through a test. And I know I was a student myself, and that it's not easy to go through this test and try to feel like, oh, I can do this, but then when it comes to the test, you don't know anything. It happens to everybody. Everyone gets nervous. It's like when someone has to perform for an opera play, or someone has to perform for a tournament, or when someone has to really give a speech, things like that. Nerves will always creep up on people. So one tip I can give that she told me to do was to constantly remind yourself, you know this. Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself you've studied for this, you worked hard for this, you know what to do, and you are able to really just take that moment to just breathe. Because sometimes I feel like this is another thing that some students do. So breathing does help you in a situation, because this is what breathing does. Breathing it allows you to be in the present moment. Now, here's the thing. When you're constantly worried about, oh, am I gonna fail? Am I gonna fail? Am I gonna fail? Am I gonna pass? Oh my God, am I, all these things. But in reality, that's your mind playing tricks on yourself. In reality, you understand that if you just simply took the time to breathe and stay into that moment of focusing on that final, you won't have to worry about those things. You can worry about that after you're taking the final. But the thing is, what matters is that present moment mindset that you need to have. If you don't have that, I promise you, you're going to fail that test. If you're having that anxiety, you're going to fail that test. That's why you just have to constantly remind yourself that, okay, I know I can do this. Just breathing helps. Another useful advice that the teacher stated was to really have confidence. Have confidence in yourself, because you were taught by a skilled professor or teacher who knows the material, who's been through this so many times, and that generally that energy tends to rub off on their students. So because they are confident, generally the students will naturally absorb that energy and feel confident as well. It's not about feeling not being able to do it, but if the teacher believes in themselves, when I say believe in themselves, as an optimal teacher, that they know that what they did, everything was right, and that the student needs to show that same reflection on them when they're taking their final. So ideally, you want the students need to reflect that same energy that the teacher's reflecting. So be confident in yourself. You know you got this. This is something I know is doable, that anyone can do. It's just you have to believe in yourself. So confidence will equal belief in yourself, or belief in yourself will equal confidence. Either way, it's the same thing, and ideally you want to be able to do that. That's the main 2 tips that she gave me, because it was not that many, but she gave me some quick tips. So pep talk is something I will incorporate in my teaching practices before final or before any tests. So guys, this has been Absolute 5. I'm Roger Palomino. Be sure to excuse me. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if you have a suggestion, or you want to leave a comment or question for me, leave a comment down below. And also, if you like my content, be sure to hit that bell button next to the subscribe button so you can get more content from my math videos. So this has been Absolute 5. Remember, math is infinite because there are infinitely many possibilities. Take care.